All right. So in this video, we're going to start exploring a health system, both for the enemy and for the player. And so we're going to start by creating the health bars. So we'll do that first here for the robot. Um, Drop that down a little bit so we can get a little bit more of a view of our robot buddy. What we're going to do here is we're going to want a health bar that's going to go right above the head, and then it's going to, as it takes more damage, the health bar is going to decrease until the robot dies. And so, as part of this, we will also add in a health into the robot controller script itself, but we'll get there. We're going to do the visual part first. So let's do that. So here, let's do it. Let's attach it to the robot itself, because we are going to start having multiple robots on the screen at the same time. And so we can right-click our robot, and we'll go down to UI. We're going to add a new canvas to the robot. And instead of a screen space, so screen space is going to be like our bullets fired right now. It just is in the screen, and that's where you're going to want to, if you're doing that, you want to dial it into your screen size. Otherwise, it's going to move around a bit. So to avoid that, because this isn't it's going to be attached to the robot, not attached to the player, we're going to, from our render mode of the canvas, we're going to switch this to world space. And so that brings it into just one spot. We don't need a special event camera. We're going to set the width to 2, the height, so let's call it 0.3, and then we'll set its position to get it closer to here to zeros for a moment, and then we'll just raise it up. You can kind of see just faintly the outline of it here. That's our canvas in the world space. And so that gets there. We'll just call it a nice even 1.25. Why not? All right. And then we're going to, from here, we're going to right click on our canvas, go down to UI, and we're going to add in an image, which is absolutely huge. We want to match our canvas size, so 2 by 0.3, so that's going to fill that. We can go ahead and set our anchor to the middle and left. We're going to fill. Full is going to be all the way to the right. About to die is going to be all the way to the left. So we can set that anchor there. And then we want to set our pivot point, instead of halfway through and halfway through, we're going to set the X to 0. And you'll see that affected by here our pivot jump there. So now if we go to our scale and we shrink our scale down, which can be done as a percentage, now we can have this change that way. And then if it gets over, which we could set that to never happen, but now that's going to be how we're going to see that change. Okay, and we'll just call this, just for reference, make it easier, we're going to call this robot health bar. Okay, so we can save that, and then we're going to go into our code. We want to go to our robot state controller. I'm going to close out a couple of these. We'll leave the bullet collider because we're going to need that. We don't need robot state. We don't need the states right now. All right, and then we go robot state controller. So that's where we're going to be working. We are going to create a new variable, public. This will be an integer int, and we'll call this robot health. And we'll start it at, let's see, let's give that robot, for our purposes, we're going to give it 10 hit points to start with. Obviously, this can be modified on your end, however you want it to be. But we're going to start it at 10. And so we're going to also, we want to get using Unity engine.ui, because we're going to use part of that. Okay, I think that will do us good for a start at the moment. Okay, we're going to grab that UI element. Actually, let's grab that UI element. And if I remember correctly, we want public image, and we'll call it health bar. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to want, so we'll scroll down to the bottom. We're going to add in a public function. We want this function to happen outside of the robot state controller, and so and be calling it here. So we're public. This can be a void. We're not returning anything here. So public void, and we're going to do receive damage. We can actually have this of the type. Let's have it an integer. Could be a float depending upon how your damage system is, and we're going to call it damage. So we're going to pass in the damage done. So that way, like if it gets hit with a grenade or a little bullet or a big bullet, right, it can change the damage done, and we can do it all through this one script. So we're going to, if we want to, we're going to handle this in two. So we're going to first do robot health minus equals damage. So we're saying that whatever robot health is, we're grabbing that variable or that value, and we are subtracting damage and putting it right back into robot health. So if damage was, if robot health is 10, it hasn't taken any damage. The damage that comes in is 2. We're subtracting the 2 and saying that robot health is now 8. And so we've got that. And so now we can say if robot health is greater than 0, right? So as long as it is not dead, we're going to do something. And then if, so we'll do an else statement here. If it is equal to or less than 0, which we don't have to write those in, right? We've got our checking to see if it's above 0, which will be 0.0001 or more, and then our else is 0 or less. So if it's less than that, destroy game object. So if this is now 0 health, we're just going to end up destroying the robot. but so now if our health is greater than 0, but we've taken damage, we're going to modify our image bar, right? We're going to change that scale and the X based off of a percentage. So we're going to do health bar dot scale dot get component is robot health bar. Actually, hold on. I think we're jumping the gun here. Actually, what we want to do is we're going to set a temporary we want a percentage. So, so we want to actually so robot health is going to be the variable that's going through. But we also want to set another integer. We're going to go public integer total robot health. So we're going to set that to the 10 as well. We could have this run in other code, easy enough just to set it. And the reason for doing this is we want to run a percentage, right? Robot health is going to forever change. So we want the total robot health to not ever change. And so we're going to say integer current health equals total robot health minus robot health, right? So we've taken some damage, it's updated the robot health, and now we're saying what is now its current health at. No, hold on. That is not right. We want this to be a float of current health, but it's going to be actually current. We don't want current health. We want health percentage. Okay, so this is going to be actually, sorry about this, robot health divided by total robot health. That's going to give us our percentage, and that's what we need to have. So we know what the current health is, which is robot health is our current health, total health was our starting health, and now we can get our percentage. So now we can go in here and say health bar rect transform. That's what we want. We're not actually getting into the component of it. We're just transforming the rectangular size. We should believe local scale should do it for us. New vector 3, and we want this to be we will do health percentage because that's in our X, right? So this is XYZ, and the X is that, and then in our Y it's going to be set to the 0.3, the F, that is what we set it to, right? And then we'll set this to 1 because that just stays constant, right? So this should match. If we go back, actually no, our scale would be 1. That's our height here, but our scale is 1, so we're going to fix that. So scale 1 and 1, but now this is our percentage, right? So this is going to be less than 1. So So now that is going to constantly change our health bar. We're going to do one more. Let's get this working before we do the fancy part. So we need to go to our bullet collider, right? And so now, currently, we don't need this anymore. We don't need that debug log. We know it's working. We're going to say, is the tag robot still, right? That is going to send us now. Currently, it was to destroy the object, but we're not dealing with that destruction here, right? We're now dealing with that destruction here in our received damage. So if the health drops below that, that's when we're going to destroy it. So we're going to change this line. So we're going to take this out. And for here, what we're going to do is we're going to say collision.collider.gameObject.getComponent, and we're going to do robot state controller dot receive damage. And we can't do this yet, right? Because it's saying it needs an integer of the damage value. Let's go ahead and say we're going to do 2 points of damage every time it gets hit. Oh, it's an integer, so F is not necessary. Damage is 2. If you wanted to do floats, if you wanted this to be, in this case, damage is 1.5, then you're going to go back to a robot state controller and set up the received damage. It would be a float damage instead of an integer damage, but we are an integer, so we're going to have a whole number. So we're going to take 2 points of damage every time the robot's going to take 2 points of damage every time we shoot it. And so if we save that and we come back in here, and we're going to turn off the gizmos, if your gizmos are on. Gizmos just allow for seeing all the different things in the environment. We just don't need to see those right now. And so, and actually we're going to turn off to make it a little easier to see. We're going to turn off in our enemy target. We can just click off the mesh render of the sphere, so we don't see that for the moment. All right, and if we hit play, right, you can see that health bar. It's going to, let's see if we can get around here. So that health bar is, I believe, yeah, so it's not facing us, so we're going to want to fix that. We'll deal with that in a minute. All right, oh, it's shooting me. I don't want you shooting at me at the moment. I'm going to shoot at you. Oh, shoot, my bullets are going slow. Let's change that real quick. I did not change the bullet speed back from when we were doing it. We're going to make 2 changes real quick. Yes. First is in the player controller. We're going to go back in. If you made the change like I had, we're going to change this back to, let's just call it 20. I don't remember what it was set at before, but I'm going to set mine at 20. Definitely make it a lot faster than it was currently going. Okay, we're going to then, we're going to do, so we should have a reference to everything I need in here. Yep. Okay. We're going to also then, on the actual update, we're going to, at the end of our update, we're going to, let's do it this way. This is something new. Let's do this as a void late update. So we're going to do this every frame, but it's at the end. And so we're going to get this here. The late update. The late update runs after update is done. It runs every frame, but it runs at the very end. And so we're going to do it in here. We're going to, like we've done before, we're going to do health bar dot. I can't do a transform dot look at player dot transform position. But we let's get a little fancier here. Let's go ahead and instead we're going to do I think you can do this. No, let's do it this way. We're going to create a new vector 3. Player direction equals new vector 3 0, because we want it to only be rotating in the Y, just circling around. Player dot transform position Y and 0, and then we'll look at should be right. We're going to find out in just a minute. Player direction. All right, so the very end, we're going to do this late update and just make this rotate so it's always facing the player. Yeah. Okay, we updated those things. That should be good. Get this going. And now, oh, it's already disappeared. And now, as we move around, it's not rotating correctly. It's all right. We'll play with that rotation a bit. But what we can now do is, if we start shooting, if I can hit it, oh. We've got another issue here. All right, it took damage, but it bounced off. So let's figure that out. And it died way too quick. Bullet collider. Shouldn't matter, but we're going to see if it is what's complaining. So we'll return the bullet to the pool, force it into here. That's the timer, so we can take this one out. Actually, no, we want to leave that. We can have this actually just as an else. That should do that. Let's see. We'll deal with the rotation in a minute. I want to get the health bar working first. Once again, let's see. What do you? Oh, hold on here. What do we got here? Object reference, not. What are you complaining about? Okay, we're gonna ignore this for the moment. That's what it's complaining about. We're going to ignore it. Let's see if that's what's just causing our problem. I don't think it is, but we're going to find out here in a moment. All right, it's sleeping. Let's take advantage of that, and we're going to shoot it. All right, and we've got another error. Oh, all right, if we go to our robot, it always is helpful to include our health bar into our health bar. Okay. Gotta update those. So easy to miss. One of the reasons why it is beneficial sometimes. I don't want to let you just get out of my sight for a moment. Don't see you. Ha ha ha. A little easier to see it. Let's come in a little bit more so we can see what's going on.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first. Good evening, and welcome to your personal update, where you can get.
Alright, apparently my iPhone decided to do something weird. So let's just ignore that. Alright, let's just, you know what, we're going to do this real quick. I'd like to be able to not have to worry. So we're going to just slide the robot this way just a bit so it cannot see the player. So we should be good now. It should start in its sleeping state, which it is. I'm going to come around so that we can kind of see that bar. And now it is setting it to way too low. All right, I'm sure I got my math wrong. This should be, let's do this real quick. Debug.log robot health. Save that, make sure that that part's right. Shoot it. Robot health is 8. That is correct. All right. And then we're going to, oops, not that one. And then I want to do, so this is my process. I know you might like just like a video where it's just straight through, but I feel like this helps a bit more. So you can see my process says when things aren't working right. Health percentage. So now this should say, as long as I did it right, this should say 0.8. So let's see what it says. It is saying 0. That is not correct, obviously. Okay, so I just did a quick double check, making sure it was saying that. So what I remembered is an integer divided by an integer is always an integer. So because robot health and total robot health are integers, that's our problem. So we're going to do robot health is a float, and we'll set it to 10 now. I mean, leave it at 10, but we're going to make just clear. Total robot health is also a float. Okay, and then we're going to bring, instead of an integer coming in, we're going to do a float with the damage. And so now we go to our bullet collider. This is gonna, we'll just add the F here, just to make it completely clear. Still not figuring out why it's not returning the bullet to the pool. We'll deal with that in a minute. Let's get the health bar working right. So if we hit play now, we should see that health bar change a bit more. Actually come around so we can see it. There we go. 2, 3.6, 0.4, 0.2, and destroyed. Okay. Fabulous. That is now working as intended. So just remember, you cannot switch. You cannot easily switch. You can switch. You have to cast it as a float. So just, if you know you're going to do it that way, just make them floats all the way through. So we've got that aspect there and done, which is great. Now, I didn't pay attention to see if the bullets were going in the right way. Let's do, see if the bullets are, quote, destroying or going back to the pool. I'm going to scroll down so I can see my list of bullets. Wait for them to go away. There we go. It is now doing what it's supposed to do. Perfect. Okay. Not sure why that was having the issue, but it was causing a problem. All right. We've got those done. Now, let's get this late update working. We're going to just see first rather than oops. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that off. We're going to change this to look at player transform position. And let's see if this is going to solve it. We can always change it to even out later. Let's see if that bar is now rotating around like it should be. All right. It's off weird. That's okay. Oh, yep. Okay. So it looks like, so if you see up here, it is rotating based off of that, and that's because we're using this, the image to the rotation. We want to rotate the canvas, and so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and public canvas health, we'll call it HP canvas. We'll just call it HB because it's a hit bar. Doesn't matter. Canvas. We're going to come into and do this first rather than forgetting again like I did last time. And we're going to set up the health bar. HB canvas is now going to be the canvas. Save that. And if we come back now in here, we want to, instead of health bar, oops, no, that's right, went way too far. We want to go, instead of on our late update, we want HB canvas transform look at the player's position. All right, now if we hit play, now as we go, you can actually see up here as we're moving around that it's always facing us, looking full, whether it's moving at us or away from us. All right. Take a wild shot and see what I think I might actually hit it. Oh, now it's going to get away. All right. Cool. That's working. Let's just go ahead and I want to see if this will just, oops, let's undo that. See if this will do the staying straight rather than getting tilted. Either's fine, honestly. It doesn't really matter. It's really personal preference. I do like it when it is just rotating on its own. That is not rotating. Let's see. Okay, that's right, because I'm looking at, so we can leave our look at, and then, let's see, so we're going to look at player, transform, position, and then we should, I believe, test the memory, HP canvas, dot rotate, dot transform, rotation equals stretching my memory, quaternion, Euler 0, HB canvas dot rotation dot Euler angle Y transform. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna test this quick before I read that all out loud. Let's see if that does it. It's definitely an extra step that you don't need to take. There we go. So even if I get close in, it's not rotating to look down at me, it's just staying straight. So that is great. So what we're doing, because I forgot we're using the look at, we need to look at the player's position, and then we're taking the current rotation of now that canvas that's rotated to look at the player, and we're just only keeping the Y's, and we're switching the X and the Z to 0. So that fixes those and keeps it straight up. All right, we have that. That's really cool, but we need to make it cooler. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, on start, we're going to health bar dot get, oh my goodness, let's see if this is right. Render material equals green. Now, why are you? Oh, that's right. Let's see, it was material dot color green. That's it. Material would be, so I'm setting a new material. Okay. And so what we're going to do, we're going to say if the robot is full health, it's green. So we're going to set it to green to start with. So let's make sure that is taking effect correctly. So on start, now this should go to green. It did not, so we're obviously having a first problem. No renderer. Okay, that is, let's see here. Where's my script? Okay, we've got our image. We look at the health bar. Canvas. Okay, I think because it doesn't have a render, let's I think that might just do it. Just changing the color of it. Let's see. It's been a hot minute since I have played with a health bar, so let's get this going. And let's make sure this is working. There it is. Yep. Okay. It doesn't have a renderer, so that's what we need to do. So perfect. So we're going to, in our start of our robot state controller, we're going to set the color of the health bar. So health bar, which is an image, we can just set its color. Color equals green. If we wanted custom colors, that's possible too. You can do an RGB value with the alpha. We're just going to choose the pre-done colors. Okay, perfect. And now we're going to scroll down, and in our health, we're going to jump into a switch statement. Ooh, can we do a switch statement? I'm going to try a switch statement. I have not tried a switch statement with floats before, so we're going to try that right. We're going to try that right now. Now, you know, actually, no, because the case has to be, it's either going to be an integer or or it can be a textual text-based. So we're going to, we've got that set up to want no. So let's just use, instead of using the health percentage, we're going to base all this on robot health, because this is robot health is a float. Let's give this a try. I've not tried it. This is a float, but let's find out what happens. Case. We're going to say case 6. We'll add in our break ahead of time. And we're going to say, if this is the case, health bar dot color equals color. We don't have an orange. Let's make it yellow. Okay, let's see if this works. So we'll save that. So as the health decreases, we're going to change the color of the bar. We're going to hit play. So it'll stay green for 2 hits. It'll go to moderate damage at 6 at yellow. So we get green. Perfect. I changed it to yellow. That's exactly what we wanted. And so now we will do, we're going to add above this a case. We're going to do it at 2. I always add in my breaks ahead of time so I don't forget them. And I'll do health bar dot color equals color red. So now, right before it dies, it's going to change its health to red, letting you know that it's about dead. Multiple clues, obviously the shrinking of the health bar helps as well, but at least it's there. So green, green, yellow, yellow, red, dead. Awesome. Okay, we've got that. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to do one more thing. We are going to we're going to come in here, come back out to our Unity, and we're going to make the robot a prefab. So we're going to drag our robot into our prefab. And now what we can do is let's do this. We're going to, we have our robot paths, which are destinations. And so I'm just going to, rather than continuing to add more to our outer layer, I'm going to, in robot paths, I'm going to right click and create an empty, and I'm going to bring it that's fine. We're going to bring it here, and we're going to call this robot respawn. That sounds better. All right, and so now what we're going to do, we'll save that, and we're going to, inside of our robot, we want to get a reference. I'm going to bring, I could add it to the game object one, but it feels very different than those, so we're going to create another one. You can add it to it, either way is fine. Game object, new robot. All right, and so then we're going to, and this, you could actually add this, you could create a pool of robots, but so we need to do this before we destroy the game object. So the moment, so what we're doing is we're going to respawn another robot, right? We don't want the game to end. We just want to go ahead and throw another robot there. And so the moment that we have destroyed game object, that is period, end of sentence, the last thing that is going to run. So if we put additional code after destroy, it's not going to run because we've destroyed it. It's done. It's over. So right above this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do game object call it NR for new robot. Let's lowercase it just because sometimes it gets confusing. New robot, and then we're going to instantiate new robot. And let's do quaternion identity as a game object. Why are you not liking that? I think it's because we don't need that, and we need to then give it a spot, which we don't have. So we have a list of destinations. I'm just going to throw it under this one. I do like to kind of like put the same types together. So we'll just do transform again. Respawn location, and so now we should be able to do respawn location dot position. That should do it. All right, and then that should do it. So we're instantiating a new game object of the type of the prefab, which is new robot. We're putting it into the position. This could be a set position, right? You could just say where it is. In this case, we have set that, so we're calling out to it, and then this is just changing its rotation to make sure it's back out to neutral. All zeros, so that would put it there. That should do it, making sure the collider is a tag base. That is correct. Okay. Then we're destroying it. All right, and then inside of our robot prefab, actually we're going to go into the prefab, and we're going to drag in, we're going to drag in our robot. So new robot is going to be the robot prefab, and we're going to have to do it here. Robot respawn. Is that going to, I don't think that's going to update here though. That's not, but I should be able to drag it in now. Let's see if that's true. It's not true. If I click, let's see here, hold on, let's double click on a robot. Open that guy up, respawn location. Select the transform. None of those are right. Oops, we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete the prefab. Hold on, let's go back out, because you're not going to allow me to save you. You are not. You are not. Okay, so we're going to delete the prefab or prefab. We're just going to delete the prefab. That's fine. Robot is fine here. Even though it's red now, that's okay. We're going to change this now to our robot respawn. We're setting row, and then that will get changed in a second. So now we'll actually drag this as a prefab so that we have that robot respawn as we want it, and we'll redrag robot to there, save it. And now we'll cross our fingers. When we come out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we have a robot. And it's working. And now we can kill this one again. But we're going to pause. We need, where are you? Robot clone. Its health is constantly going down. So what we need to do is go into robot state controller, on start. So we're going to change robot health from setting it here to on start robot health equals total robot health. So when this boots up, it's going to set it to 10, and then it should, when it respawns, set it to 10 as well. So let's check and make sure that's actually happening, because we were starting to get to a case where we're at like -2 health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna let it stop. Can't aim. Okay. Oh, and we have a health bar rotation issue. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rotation is not starting correctly, so we're going to do a rotation to begin with. But it is now, because the moment we hit it, it does rotate. So let's look at that. Late update is running that. So it should be, but we can force this in our startup on start. We'll just force it to run again. Which actually, if we do that, we'll make it prettier in a moment. It's still giving it a problem. All right. Let's see here. So we got that one solved. delete that. It's not doing any. Ooh, I think hit the wrong button. Let's delete this. Not doing anything for us anyway. That did not do what I wanted. Okay. Let's check that. There's something that's not getting grabbed. We're gonna figure it out. That's what this is all about. Let's get this one shot and killed. We're gonna pause. We have our robot clone. We have a reference to the player. We've got a reference to its health bar. We've got a reference to its canvas. Those are all correct. Colors are correct. Alright, I want to try something real quick. This shouldn't matter. But welcome to my life where weirder things have happened. If we throw it in the update at the start. Going to do the same thing, just doing it at the beginning of the update rather than the end of the update. It's forcing, it's 100% running every time it is doing the same thing. Okay, so that is not, it's not when it's running. So that's great, I think. Save that. I think rather than getting into the trenches with this, we're gonna just say it's good enough for tonight. It'll be a errata for next week, because I want to move on from this a bit. Okay, we've got that. We have it's working. It's just not looking the right direction on spawn. We'll get that figured out. Okay, now the robots can die, they respawn. Great. Let's let the robot be able to shoot the player. And so we're going to go and do damage to the player. So we're going to go ahead and our shooting is here. So I'm going to make the shooting speed more for the robot. We're going to make it even, because it can miss so much. We're going to just make it shooting speed the same. So we're going to change it to 20, same as the player. And then we're going to, in our bullet collider, we should, let's make sure our player, our player has the tag player, which is great. We don't want bullets bouncing off of our gun, so we're going to turn off the collider and our cube collider. We don't want it just bouncing off of that. So if the bullet comes in from the player, basically can't use their gun to block a bullet shot. If you want to make a game that can do that, that's cool. That's not what I want to have happen in this. And so the enemy is going to have a hard enough time shooting the player. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. No, we're going to leave that. So we've got that set. That's now turned off. Just turning off the colliders mean it can't collide with it. And so player is using the tag player. If your player does not have the tag player, come in on player, click player. And so what we're going to do here on our collider is we're going to add another else statement. Else if collision.collider.gameObject.tag equals player, then we're just going to start by returning the bullet to the pool because that's what we need to do. But then we need to, in our player controller, we need to add in, like we did before, we need to add in player health. So let's come in here. We'll just create a section in this one since I've done it before. Player health. We're going to create a, in this case, it could be a private float. Max player health. We'll set it to 5. Player's not as strong as the robot. We can do a private, another float. Current player health. That should be good. So we can do here on our start, current player health is equal to max player health. And then we're going to, at the bottom, as we did before, we're going to create a public void function. We're going to call this one, we'll do it for this time, take damage. We're going to pass in a float. We're going to call it damage. All right. And so then current player health is equal minus equal damage. Actually, let's get creative with this one. Okay, we're going to change this. We're going to do this change health. Change current health. Let's do that. And we're going to float is going to be health on this one. And so so this is getting a little weird. We're going to change it to plus health. All right. Okay, so this might seem weird compared since we're setting this up for taking damage, right? But we're actually going to set this up for being able to heal as well. So, so we're going to just, whether it's healing or damage, we're going to use the same function. So we're just changing the current health, some way, shape, or form, and it's coming in through a float because we're going to want to play with a percentage again when we set up a health bar for the player. And so we're going to say current player health is plus equal to health, right? So take current player health, add the incoming health, and return that back into current player health. So what we're doing with this is setting it up for both ways. So what we're going to do is in here, if it's colliding with the player, we're going to say collision, just like we did before, except spelling it correctly. Collision dot collider dot game object dot get component player controller change current health. We're setting this up for damage, right? This is a bullet, so we're going to say -2F. Let's just do -1, because otherwise it's just going to jump weird and it's fine. So we're changing the current health by a negative value. And so we're adding a negative, which is the same thing as subtracting. So when it comes in here, it's going to be adding bringing in the -1 here. Adding -1 means this is going to go to 4, right? Because we're set our health to 5. All right. So now what we want to check, if current player health is greater than max player health, right? We don't want to go above our max player health, so if that is the case, current player health equals max player health. So if we go to a healing spot, we can't get more health than our maximum health. All right. Perfect. Let's go ahead and we're going to set up our health bar just as we had done before, but we're going to do this on the player. We're going to minimize those, right click, UI canvas. We're going to make this once again a world space. We'll change this to 0, 0, 0, width of 2, height of 0.3. It's hiding in here. I'm going to bring it out back and down a little bit. So our health is going to be down there. We don't see anything because nothing exists, so we're going to right click on our canvas, UI image, just like we've done before. It's way too big. 2.3. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and lower this just a little bit more. We'll let it be, and we're going to move it back just a smidge. All right. Once again, this is preference, right? First, it's your preference as you're developing it, and then as you do UX testing, then if you get feedback of, oh, I really hated where the health bar was on the player, well, then you change it, right? Or you could even just do it UX pre-testing where you show them different options and you say which one do you like more, right? So we've got this. We're going to change this name for simplicity to player health bar. All right, and then we need to make sure we set this up right. Left and pivot 0. Right, so then when we change our X scale, it's going that way. Perfect. Oh, or should we go, let's center it and set it to 0.5. Because we want it to be different, right? We can't do it the same as the enemy. That would be crazy talk. If we set this to that, now our player health is going to change down the center line, which is just something fun and different. And actually, I need to change. I want to change this to zeros and move the canvas back. Get it down where I want it to be. Move the canvas back. Okay. Perfect. So now we can go back to our player, scroll up to the top, using Unity Engine.UI. And here we're going to do we'll do a serialized field for this. Private image. Player health bar. Okay, that should be good. That will be fine. So now we can have, let's go back up to on start. Player health bar dot color equals color dot green. Right, we want full health. That's great. And then we will, like we did before. So now if current player health is greater than 0, like we did last time, we're going to say float health percentage equals current player health divided by max player health. And then we're going to do player health bar dot rect transform equals that's not right. Hold on. Always feel free to use your other scripts. Local scale, that's the word I'm missing. Local scale equals new vector 3 0. No, we want the X. Health percentage. No, I don't want all those. Health percentage 1F. Right. Can always just double check because we know it worked. That is correct. All right. And then we will we're going to do an else here. And we're going to save this for later. We're not handling a restart yet. But we're going to do else player health less than or equal to 0 restart. So that's just setting it up for what's going to happen. So as long as this is the case, we're going to switch, do a switch statement, current player health, case, we'll say case 3, case 4 colon break, and then we'll do a case 2 colon break. There is a chance where we would go back up to full health, so it's a case 5 break. Okay, so at 2, we're going to say player health bar color equals color dot red. On 4, player health bar, oops, it was there, I swear, color equals color dot yellow. And if we come back up to health, we'll just go back to green. Yeah? Okay. So now as long as that player has health, we're going to go there. And we're going to come here. We're going to change our vector based on the percentage. Change our color based on the percentage. We're going to set this up. We're not going to work on this video, but this is where we would do our restart. Okay. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and the little collider is sending the -1, which is great. Okay. Perfect. Let's go ahead real quick and test this. Let's make sure we've got our, yep, almost forgot, player health bar, add that to our player health bar here. Save this. We're going to hit play. Health bar should go green. It did. Let's get up close, and it's shooting, but it's a bad shot. We took some damage. We're at yellow. You could easily tie this in to the closer you are, the more accurate it becomes. Those are numbers can easily be changed. But we've got, cool, so we're losing health as we would expect. Perfect. Let's go ahead real quick and create our healing spot. So we're going to do, we're going to create a 3D object. Let's make it a cylinder. Why not? Wrong screen. Here we go. We're going to let's do that. We're going to do this. We're going to put this just over here. We're going to make it bigger and double the size. Put that up to there. We're going to make a new material. The new material is going to be, let's just create a new material. Healing portal, why not? And we're going to actually make this transparent. We're going to make the color, let's make it a red, because red's a health color. We're going to change its transparency. The alpha layer, though, we're going to change it down. Let's give it a right around there, I think will work. And let's drag that onto, come on. Our cylinder, way too, it's not bad. Let's play with this just a bit. We're going to We're gonna let's add another 3D object cylinder. This is not going to be that material. This is going to be our active scanner material, which I believe was red, which is correct. We're going to change its scale in the Y to 0.1 question mark. That will work. I'll set up here so it's just obvious that it's kind of almost looks like it's shining a light down. So we do that, and then let's in our cylinder, or don't need to do that. Healing portal, we can come over to re-click on our color. Now that it's here, we can actually see what it's going to turn into. And let's set that, and let's set it more like 150. Alright, that gives a little bit better color. Okay, so now what we want is for this cylinder to not have a we don't want a collider on it because we want to be able to pass through, and that should be what that does. Let's double check. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's switch that there. Alright, I can pass through my healing portal. Okay, now we want to, so what we've done, let's create a new script. Create auto behavior healing portal. And if you remember on the bullet collider, we have a on collision enter, right? What we're going to actually do with this, we definitely don't need an update. So we're going to get rid of the update. We're going to do an on trigger enter. Okay, actually what we want, because we're switching to an on trigger, and that actually still does need to be a collider, but it's going to go through. And now I need to make sure I believe we can put it on this one. We need it needs to have a rigid body, right? For a collision to work, it needs to have a rigid body. So let's, I think we can get away with it on here. It's not using gravity. We'll move it to discrete because we're not moving that fast, or we'll keep it discrete. We're not moving that fast. So an on trigger should allow us to still go through it. And so let's do this. Other dot collide. Other dot. Other dot game object dot. Game object, that's what I wanted. Dot other dot game object dot name, and what we actually want, shoot, debug. Just doing a debug here, make sure it's doing what I think it does. Other, it's been so long since I've done one of these. Other dot game object dot name. Okay. Save that. Actually, let's put this here. If other dot game object dot tag equals player, right? We only want this to go off if it's the player. Should work. Said with so much confidence. I'm going to make sure we attach our healing portal here. All right, play. Console. Okay, we're at least passing through. That is great. That is not great. It's just moving away because I don't have gravity on it. Okay, is kinematic, which I believe means it will not move. Let's check that one. It's always great hitting things when you don't have gravity on. Okay, that's better. But we're not getting our trigger. So let's figure out that one. Actually, we do. Let's see. Okay, so we're testing to see who's the player, get the object name. We weren't getting it showing up, and the reason for that is we need to make sure, so we're using on trigger, right? We need to go to our collider and say that it's a trigger. I love things that just have those smart little checkboxes. So with that, now we should, let's see what happens. If it collides with the player, we should see player. There we go, player. Perfect. As we go back and forth, we're seeing player. All right, perfect. So now what we can do is other dot game object dot get component player controller change current health, and this time we're just going to make it 1F, right? So now when you go through the healing portal, you're going to get health, which is going to play here with our health. It's now going to pass in a positive, so now it's current health plus 1. It's going to check and make sure that that doesn't go over 5, and then it's going to go through the color change. Okay. Make sure I took that off. I believe I did. Healing portal. Yes, perfect. All right. This way, right, we're only healing if it's the player. This will not affect a robot at all. We could set up a special one for the robots if we wanted to. Could put in a healing state where if they take so much damage, they then try and go to a healing pad. We're not going to worry about that, but that is an option that would be easy enough to do. So we're going to start this by checking out to make sure this is not going to do anything extra. I don't see my hit bar getting any bigger. I could just stay in there, that's funny. But it only is going to happen when you enter it, right? There is on trigger exit as well. But so we're going to force this guy to shoot us a couple times. Stand here and take it. Come on, you can do it. Hit me, hit me, hit me. One more shot. There we go. Run away, run away. Okay, now. That's kind of funny. We can remove that, but we won't worry about the moment. So now if I go through here, our hit points went up. I go through it again, hit points went back up to yellow, and now back up to green. And then it's just going to stay there. So now we have a healing, we have health bars on the enemy and the player. They both change size and or size clashes, quote, shape, depending upon the damage done, and then they change color as well. We also implemented a healing function here for the player. So now we have it using the same script either way for whether it's taking damage or if it's healing. All right, this video became a bit longer than I had planned, so we're going to go ahead at this point and call this video. This should be making some huge progress towards anything that you still had left in your current individual games. We've got a few more things to do for this to kind of add some more fun parts and pieces, but we are hopefully, as you can see, getting really close to a finalized game. So that's it for this week, and I'll see you either in class or next week.